In today's lab, we're going to focus on some Excel skills that are going to help us visualize data. Why do you think it's important to take data and turn it into a visual representation?
Helps people who are better at learning and understanding pictures instead of numbers.
So what kinds of tools have you used before to take data and turn it into something more visual?
Graphs, charts, pictures.
Yep, all those are good things. Today's going to be a little bit different. We're not going to do our own lab. Instead, we're going to use some data that actually comes from the DEC. New York State DEC puts on this program every year for a little over the past 10 years. It's called The Day in the Life of the Hudson River. You can see in these pictures, students in New York go out every year. They look for what kind of fish and wildlife they see. They test all sorts of characteristics about the water, like its salinity, its pH. They also just kind of use general observations. Their whole point is to go out every year and kind of take a snapshot and see if year to year it's going to be the same or it's going to be different. And they capture a great amount of data, and it's pretty cool because what the students actually see, real scientists or researchers use. So it's pretty neat to have a citizen science project like that. So let's take a look at some data that came from that project. All right, so we've got this chart here. This is going to be our starting point for this lab. Can you take anything away from that?
It's like a calendar with numbers.
Okay, so based on how that's set up, what information is that chart telling us?
The title says Location of Hudson River Salt Front in River Miles for the days of the month, October to September.
Perfect. So the Hudson River is pretty interesting. Rivers we tend to think of as freshwater, but our river is an estuary. Salt water comes up from the harbor in New York City, and depending on all kinds of things, temperature, atmospheric pressure, the amount of rainwater, where that salt water and fresh water meet, we call that the salt front, and it changes. And this is measurements every day for a whole year between the months of October all the way back to September. It's going to tell us about that salt front. So when you look at these numbers, does anything stand out?
It seems to change quite a bit from month to month.
Okay. Why do you think that might be?
I'm not sure.
Well, we can't really tell exactly from this, but we can look for some trends, and then maybe we can make a hypothesis and then look for more information to test that out. But for right now, we're going to use a tool called conditional formatting to try to visualize those trends, make them a little bit easier to see. So what I want you to do is to select all of that data. You don't have to select actually the months and just those. Okay. All right. Let me go up here and look for conditional formatting. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me click on that. Alright, we're going to use something called color scales. We want to make it much more visible. You can see just by highlighting it's changing some things. We're going to go ahead and make a new rule so we can really handpick what we like. Alright, so now if you go to the format style, you can play around with those different things. See if there's one that helps you. Well, I guess this one we can't see the preview. But you can always, nice thing about being on the computer, you can always try something out. If you don't like it, you can just click on new. You can reload the data. It's not like you can really make a mistake here. It's kind of about playing with it, and then we'll see which one helps us see the best. Alright. What did that tell you?
So the lowest level seems to be in April, and the highest near August and September.
Much easier to see like that, right?
Yeah.
So this information is all about the Hudson River. Could you imagine applying this skill or this tool to other data?
Sure.
Sure. I know you like sports. Could you imagine something else you could try to apply it to?
Probably use it for I don't know, maybe batting averages compared to time of year.
Sure. That might help you. Your baseball has quite a few games. I'm sure they rack up numbers pretty quickly. Do you think something like that might help you see trends in how a player was doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same idea. What do you think? Is that a tool that you might use? Was it pretty easy?
Yeah. Seemed easy.
You think should we try to make a graph?
Sure.
I know many students they don't really like making graphs by hand. Kind of a little bit tedious. On the computer's nice because you can do it really quickly. Alright, so if you scroll down a little bit, there's going to be some directions. Here it starts talking about charts. Number 3 there. What kind of chart does it tell us to make?
Line chart.
A line chart. It looks like you still have that data selected. Why don't you go ahead and insert a line chart? Kind of issue. Maybe try to select it again. Let's see. Let's check out that kind of chart and make sure it's really the kind of chart you want. Maybe go to all charts and see if you can find a line chart. Does that look helpful? What do you think? Which one is better at communicating the information?
I think the first one was better.
Conditional formatting.
Yeah.
I think Did you delete it?
Mhm.
You didn't like it?
Yeah.
No. Can you think of anything you could do with this data to make the chart a little bit prettier, a little bit cleaner, easier you have to see.
I'm not sure.
Not sure. Well, if you look here, we skipped over some of the steps of the lab, but I think if you had found maybe an average for each month and then charted that, it probably would have been a little bit simpler.
That might make it better.
That might make it better. Alright, why don't you go ahead and do that. Have you ever used formulas on Excel before?
Nope.
Never.
I don't think so.
Right. Do you remember your terms from statistics there? Mode, median, mean? Which one do you think would be the best to use?
The mean.
You would like to do the mean? Okay, well then click on this box. Excel can actually figure out the average for you. You're going to put in an equal sign, and it's right over here. What you're going to need is the average. Okay, now start up parentheses. And if you select all the data for, I think October was our first one, and then you just need to edit. The other nice thing, you don't actually even have to do it again if you click on it, and you can, just drag it over. Be sure when you drag, you click on the bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit easier than by hand.
Yep.
Do you want to go ahead and try to make a chart out of that?
Sure.
Go back up to here. Alright, so you got your chart to work out. You want to describe it for us a little bit?
So there's a line chart of the average location of Hudson River salt front October to September. Easier to read than all those other numbers, and other than a few major dips, it seems to be, somewhat fairly constant.
Alright, so in this version of the chart, if you were reading a report about this, which one do you think would be more helpful, this chart or the color coding you did up here?
I know I still kind of like the color coding myself.
I think, depending on the point you were trying to get across, they both kind of have their own merits, and I could probably see including both in a report.
Yep.